Hey everyone, I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks. Well, welcome back everyone to our Final Fantasy X walkthrough series. We're, well, at the kind of very end, and where we left off with the last episode, we kind of went through the whole celestial weapons, right? We talked about where to get them, how to upgrade them, all that sort of thing. We kind of had to cut it short, shy of talking about them, specifically the weapons and like their abilities. So we are going to start off doing that, and then we're going to kind of make our way into Sin. We didn't go through there either. We got into Sin, and then we were like, we out, and so we bounced. Well, we're going back in. We'll go through that whole area, a little bit of story, and then we're going to end it by talking about the monster arena and everything in that. There's so much to cover in 10. We are going to be missing a lot of stuff. And every time I do like sections of the game and go through the notes, I remember more. I'm like, oh, we haven't talked about that. We haven't talked
Yeah.
about this. And there's going to be
Yeah.
so much that we aren't going to even talk about whatsoever. So full comprehensive, it's just not realistic in a podcast, I think.
Especially in detail. I think that's the key. We're gonna brush on most things, but in detail, like very specific things
Yes.
might not get to.
All right, well, let's go for it. So, celestial weapons. We already went through all that, so we're not even going to recap any of it other than just the stats. So, you get these things, you upgrade them twice. It's fantastic. All of the weapons, all of them will have break damage limit and triple overdrive. So, that's kind of the commonality between those. The break damage limit itself is obviously why you want these as soon as you can, because, that's kind of going to be your upper ceiling, your limit here, and especially getting other items to then customize your own break damage. But that's not going to probably be for quite a while.
Yeah, exactly. Getting the items for those is extremely difficult. The other interesting thing, like you said, so they all get those two abilities, but then there's some slight differences between the characters.
Yeah, so Yuna, Waka, Kamari, and Riku, in addition to the break damage triple overdrive, they also have double AP. And I mean, honestly, probably some of the better ones. It's not really hard to customize, but it's just great that it's in addition to the other things on the weapons. For Titus, Waka, and Kamari, you get evade encounter. And I mean, we've already talked about that one is like, it's almost a broken ability.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really, really good one. And then with Lulu and Yuna, you get 1 MP, which is also a really good ability. I mean, and it works for them because, they're the magic casters, so it makes more sense.
Of course. On Yuna, I don't really have issues with mana and stuff, and I'm casting, magic and double casting all the time. But obviously with Lulu, I have a magic booster, and yeah, I mean, I'm using ethers every once in a while and stuff because it just eats through it like crazy. And then the rest are kind of just random abilities here and there. So Titus, I don't know why, but his has magic counter on it. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, thanks for just wasting a spot. Lulu, she's got magic booster, and that's why her weapon, I'd say, is probably one of the best ones out of these, because I mean, you got 1 MP, magic booster, and break damage limit. Triple overdrive, it's kind of nice, but like those three, I'd probably have almost those three on any weapon anyways.
Yeah, no, those are really good ones. I mean, but I agree with you on the magic counter as well. That just isn't really all that good on an ultimate weapon. I mean, I get they were trying to just do different ones, I think, because everybody having the exact same abilities, not all that interesting.
Right.
With Auron, he had one good one and then one not great one. So first strike, phenomenal. Counter attack, that's not very good when you think about it. I mean, it would have been great to have evade and counter there.
Yeah, and especially with how easy evade and counter is to customize. I mean, you get, what is it? It's teleport, spheres. I mean, you should have some of those. So it's not like it's really that hard. And it's like, oh, it's just settle for counter. I mean, this is a celestial weapon, and he only has counter. Meanwhile, you got Titus Waka and Kamari with evade and counter.
I think they were going with the stereotypes as well, right? Like sort of the bulky sentinel type should have counter, and then I guess the more agile ones have evade and counter. So it makes sense in that regard. But man, if only could get that weapon with the 3 abilities minus counter and just customize it.
Oh, yes.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. And Riku's, the last one, look, it's a great ability. I don't think it belongs on the celestial weapon, but Gillionaire. What is it? I think it like doubles the amount of gil you get, which you need. I mean, especially if you actually make on plan on making a long stab at the end game in 10, you are going to need some money, my friend. You are going to need lots and lots and lots of money. So, I mean, getting Gillionaire as soon as possible, so helpful.
Oh, for sure. I mean, so ultimately, what do you kind of think about the ultimate weapons? I mean, what are your final thoughts on those?
It was definitely a different system. Past Final Fantasies up to this point, all you did is you went and either you fulfilled some sort of requirements or you just found it and you got, Ultima Weapon or Save the Queen or, you got some sort of really amazing weapon. Here, it was different, I mean, some of these you could have had for a little bit and you're just sitting there like, it's just sitting in your inventory with no AP and you're like, okay, and you got to upgrade them a couple times and you got to find the items to upgrade them. Very intricate. I mean, much more than just like going and opening up a chest that's hidden somewhere. And so I kind of like that. It meant you had to really kind of work for it. And so when you got the lightning dodges, which by the way, I did try it. I only got like over 50, so I didn't even make it to 100, but I think that was the furthest I've ever made it. I mean, yeah, it wasn't so bad. I was kind of finding some glitch to where like it wasn't going when I was moving and I had to kind of stop and then it would go instantly and so I had to kind of prep myself for that. Yeah, not bad, but anyways, like, yeah, so say I get the 200 dodges. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, right? I'm like, now I can go and do this. It kind of builds them up. But some of them are slight letdowns, and it's kind of like, oh, I mean, gosh, counter with first strike for it. It's like, come on, we could beef these up a bit.
Yeah, one thing I do like, though, they all look awesome, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The celestial weapons look so cool. Lulu's, for example, I love the Onion Knight.
Onion Knight,
You've
yes.
got the Masamune. You can't deny the Masamune is like one of the coolest looking weapons. You've got the World Champion. I mean, how the heck does he even throw that thing?
Yeah, where does he put his hand on it? Well, it doesn't stop there, right? Because you can make your own weapons. And if you've been getting a lot of stuff, and obviously at the end of the episode, we will go over the monster arena. So we actually will go into how you do get some of these items and stuff like that. But once you really start getting your stride and you're able to really acquire some of these more rare items and rewards and stuff, you can start making some really, really cool weapons. There's two ways of going, obviously. You got kind of your leveling up weapons, and then you got like, my boss weapons. So for the boss weapons, honestly, I usually don't even use overdrive, man. I mean, it charges fast enough. Most of them, maybe only on like Waka, right? Or some of them that's like, the overdrives are actually really, really worth it, and you want to do that.
Right.
The rest of them usually don't do overdrives, and of course, especially for bosses, you don't want any AP customizations. No, there's no point.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a good point. That's what it's like. You can make two different ultimate weapons for all your characters when you really get down to it. Right damage limit is kind of the one that you want on everything, which unfortunately is really, really hard to get. But, you could do something. I mean, you can have evade and counter. First strike is really good. Death strike can be really cool. I mean, there's all kinds of abilities you can put on here. But I agree with you. When it comes to AP customization, I'll go over a weapon that's perfect for that.
Yeah, exactly. You'd want to really customize the weapon towards, because it's AP. Why else you getting AP other than leveling up? So you'd obviously want to really drive it towards, this is the weapon that's going to help me level up as best as possible.
Right, because it doesn't give you any other strength. So it's like, it's not a strong ability. It's just something that helps you to level up. So I get what you're saying. Like double AP, it just takes a slot that could be used for something as crazy as Magic Booster or First Strike or, anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, there's tons of combos and different things you can do. And, obviously, most things won't work all of the time, but will work most of the time. It's like, for instance, we talked about Death Strike, like a cool one for Waka, or really just anyone, honestly. Even Lulu is, you can have Evade and Counter and Death Strike on there with whatever else. Break damage limit, of course. Oh my gosh, that's so fantastic. I mean, because, you have a chance to just kill them instantly anytime something attacks you. And so it's just, you're going to be breezing through some things.
Yeah, and the thing that's so great, I just got to point out about Evade and Counter that we might not have even touched on before is, you can put this on any character, and even if their physical attack is weak, like Lulu in the early stages or Yuna, the real benefit comes from the defensive aspect of it to where it basically makes you immune to regular physical attacks. So even aside from like them even doing damage, it's just, it's a great defensive ability. The AP thing, what really works, you can get a weapon with 3 or 4 slots and customize triple overdrive, overdrive to AP, triple AP. And that is like the ultimate thing. And then basically you can just, there's all kinds of different ways. We can talk about farming later as far as overdrives and AP and whatnot. But the only problem is triple AP is really hard to customize. I think it requires.
It's something. Yeah, we'll get to it. You probably just will have to settle for double for most of the time.
Overdrive to AP is a pretty easy one. I think you can do that with door to tomorrow. And then triple overdrive, I think, is a little bit harder to get.
Triple overdrive with overdrive to AP and triple AP. I mean, you're gonna be cranking out levels like crazy. I mean, it's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yuna, Lulu, I think they're the only ones that are different, right? Unless you kind of want everybody to be magic casting, but Titus, Riku, Waka, Orin, they can have other abilities, but Yuna, Lulu, honestly, this would be kind of my ultimate weapon for them. Something like break damage limit, 1 MP cost, magic booster, evade encounter.
Yeah.
I was kind of debating triple overdrive, but then I realized the exact same thing you do, which is, to be totally honest, their overdrives really aren't that great, right? And most of the time, they're just sitting there with a full overdrive battle after battle because I don't really use them.
It's kind of like you said, it's like, well, I don't know what else I'd put on it, though, I mean, other than just kind of, again, a Death Strike, Stone Strike, just kind of something like that, because, magic plus 20% is only going to be useful for so long until your magic's maxed out. It's kind of pointless, too, and yeah.
Right. And you kind of hit on a point there. The reason why I wouldn't do something like magic plus 20% or, any of those abilities is because with these ultimate weapons, like this is the ultimate weapon, right? So assuming that you pretty much have max stats, in which case putting a stat boosting thing on there would just be kind of a waste of a slot. So when you think about like what is the ultimate, assuming max stats, what's the best abilities you can possibly get? I mean, it'd be something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe First Strike again is a contender just because it's so useful. Some of them get a little bit situational.
And of course, man, we barely brushed the surface on this, and well, that's where we're leaving it, because yes, there's just an endless amount of customizations where you'd want certain things at certain places for certain bosses, so on and so forth. So we'll just kind of leave it there. Overall, I just think the whole customization thing is pretty cool, because yeah, you're able to just make your own weapons and equipment, and that is pretty sweet. Let's go back into Sin. So remember, we went through the whole thing. Sin burped up a bunch of fireflies, went into it. We are floating around in open space inside Sin. So I guess Sin has a universe within itself. And, we went to that landing area. And that's where we stopped. Now we're going to move on. Now, of course, we're in a new area. So we got some enemies. And we haven't really kind of talked about enemies. And man, this is kind of sad. This is almost like our last list of enemies, Like, we kind of only have one more space. Womp womp, coming to an end.
That is true, man. We've covered them all, though. We have gone over all of these enemies. This place is stacked with all kinds of enemies, right? Yes. So let's just start off with, we get the classic Final Fantasy, the turtle enemies, or Adamantoise.
Out of everything, the only one that's still like we've seen before is Wraith. You'll see a Wraith in this area, but all the other ones are new. So yeah, Adamantoise. I mean, it's just like, what do you think it is? It's a giant turtle, guys. Come on, it's Final Fantasy. You always have to fight a giant turtle. If you don't, or a tortoise, I guess. If you don't, what are you even living for?
I love the variation too. I mean, when you think about like Final Fantasy 7s to 8s, this is honestly more like 9s. 9s and 10s are very similar. Needless to say, all of the enemies here hit hard, so you know that at this point, pretty much no need in saying that, yeah, these guys hit hard. We're at the end of the game, so he can be hit with armor break, mental break, which is really useful. He's armored, has some pretty nasty attacks.
Yeah, breath is just the standard, hits all. Well, in fact, I think most of his abilities hit everyone. Most of these abilities, they hit for, it's around like 2k or so, and
Quake can be really dangerous because if you have a slow team out there and some of them start getting KO'd, it has like a delay buster effect. So you can get caught pretty easily in a situation which he gets like multiple turns in a row using Earthquake, which has happened. I mean, if you at least have Riku or somebody faster in there, it doesn't happen. So most people don't have that issue. But yeah, it has a delay effect for sure.
The next one, Exo Ray. It's one of the fungus I'm a little let down with it. It was kind of like the last fungus we came across. It's like almost like the first initial one at that time for just your characters was the most dangerous, and the other ones aren't so bad. But it's just typical fungus, uses like fire aga, has the counter with pollen as usual.
Yeah, and I think the reason why they're just not that dangerous is they have like no defense, and you can often just take them out with like double cast fire aga, even just regular physical attacks. There's any number of ways. You can also petrify them. These guys are not really so much of an issue, and their pollen isn't any worse either. It's the same deal. It's just a counterattack and hits with the same annoying status effects. But more annoying, difficult enemy around here is this Demonolith, which we'll cover. It's in a later stage of this area. But,
Yeah.
man, it's like a tomb? Like a pharaoh or something like that.
The species, remember, this is like, we talked about our favorite character models in one of our shorts, and mine was, was the monolith, because I was like, it's a living fossil. Doomstone. Well, the species says Doomstone. That's not a species. What is that? You can't just be making things up.
It's literally like a fossil / tombstone, which they just combined to Doomstone.
Doomstone. And like you said, some of these, we're going to just go over all of them inside Sin. Some of these don't come to a later section, but we're just going to go through them all anyways. That way we kind of just move past when we get there. It does have a really cool move. I mean, it's not cool when it's used against you, but Pharaoh's Curse, man. So this is like some Egyptian fossil here. This thing,
for real,
it could be kind of serious, not too bad, but it's poison, darkness, silence, and curse. And I mean, curse is one that we usually don't encounter that much, and obviously you just can't use your overdrives for that, but just something that you can't protect against.
And it's one of the most annoying attacks because he uses it as a counter. So that is the one thing you'll notice when you fight the monolith the first time. He uses this Pharaoh's Curse over and over and over again. Literally every single attack you hit him with, he counters with it 100% of the time. So very, very annoying. He's also armored too. It's just the same story. Armored, so armor break, mental break, like 45,000 HP. It's another reason why they're so annoying. And I forgot to mention their most dangerous attack, and this will lead to the most game overs, I'm sure. Stone Breath. Hits every party. Yeah, and you just either got to get lucky, or hopefully you've got somebody who's stone proof. Because if you don't, they can use it. It's chance, like RNG. It's probably about a third of the time they'll use it. So
some real, and they also can cause zombie on hits. So it's like, gosh, man, all right. Barbatos, I don't even know what it is. It's got like shoulder guards that like reach the ground or something. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I have no idea how.
It's like a giant tank. Basically, is the easiest way to describe Barbados. Yeah, pretty much. You'll know it when you see it. It literally takes up the entire screen, and it's like zoomed out because of how huge this enemy is. He also, I think he's got, so this is a fun fact, this guy has the most HP out of any regular encounter in the entire game. 95,000.
Wow. Yeah, mini boss right there.
It's not fun. Yeah, this dude is not fun. He's definitely in the tougher area of Sin. He's got some really annoying attacks that hit the entire... His regular attack really hits hard. He's got Body Splash. He's got Mortar. These hit the whole party. Or, anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000, 2,500 possibly so. And on top of that, to add insult to injury, he's pretty much immune to everything that I can think of other than the breaks, as usual. So this is just, again, like endgame stuff. These guys start getting... You're not going to be able to blind them. You're not going to be able to just simply put them to sleep anymore.
Well, Gemini is another variant of the Iron Giant, which is pretty cool. It looks good, and it's like, wow, we haven't actually seen any of these models, really. Mm-hmm. And they'll come in pairs, as you usually do, and it'll be like right and left or something like that, right?
Pretty much. It's, you think that they're like the same thing, but they have different swords. They look slightly different in appearance.
Yeah.
They use the same attacks, but they have different elemental resistances. And these guys, and I didn't really know this because honestly, they're usually not alive long enough for me to find out. But I guess if you get one or two of them down to somewhat like critical or below some threshold, they can use this special attack on the whole party called Double Reaper. Probably does around 2,000 damage to everybody, so watch out for that.
Not too challenging. They're kind of one of the easier enemies. You will definitely encounter them in the first section. Yeah, it's just interesting. One absorbs fire and lightning, and the other one water and ice. So just be
Yeah,
mindful.
like
Just like
yin
you
and
don't heal
yang.
them.
Yeah, exactly. But it also turns out to be the easiest way to take them down is just to use their weakness. We really have left the best for last here.
Oh
Behemoth
boy.
King. I
Yes.
mean, that's all I have to say. He's got pretty much the same attacks. He's got his normal swipe attack that does a pretty good amount of damage. It's more powerful. He has Thundera, and he's even still got his heave move. And
Oh boy.
this will pretty much kill anybody essentially, unless they're protected. So Titus will definitely kill him. Waka.
But he also kicks it up, so starts using flare. So that's something you have to worry about. And the other thing, Mighty Guard. So that's good. Kamari can learn Mighty Guard if you haven't already. But he's using flare and heave and these other attacks. And then, of course, that meteor. On death, he uses meteor as just kind of his I'm taking you all with me move. And, well, so there's a chance he probably will take someone with him.
Yeah, this is a tough one, especially if you're under leveled. You really, really have to be prepared for this because if you're not, you're gonna die. I mean, it really hits hard. Like, make sure you're high HP, fully healed.
And like you said, of course, we're highlighting if you're just kind of playing the story naturally, not doing a whole lot of side content and stuff, and you just get to this sin and you just keep playing through, these guys are going to be challenging. I mean, if you don't really do
Yeah.
hardly anything, like this is going to be a real check for you. Oh man, great Marlboro. We've talked about it before. We talked about the regular one. Just what makes this one so dangerous with bad breath, which of course is poison, slow, darkness, silence, confusion, and berserk, is that it uses it a third of the time. So its RNG percentage is 33.33%. Repeating, of course. You might as well just say 100% because that's what it is.
Yeah, as we all know, 33.33%, which is basically 1/3, is 100% in Final Fantasy.
Oh,
That is
boy.
so true. But yeah, Great Marlboro, it's all about that bad breath, that combination of them. These alone, not a problem, but anything that causes you to lose control of your characters, those are the ones. That's how you get killed because they get confused. They can't hit each other out of the confusion, and they just continue to take poison damage, and poison doesn't knock you out of confusion. Meanwhile, while your characters are just dying from poison, he sits there and uses gastric juice, which hits pretty much the whole party, I believe, for about. It's not super strong, but it's the fact that you can't get out of berserk and confusion at the same time. Does like 800 damage, and then he has this interesting munch move that hits one character and does, I don't know, 1,000 or so.
And again, it's just the fact you can't do anything, and you don't even have any hope of killing him accidentally because again, you can't hit him. Darkness,
never hit.
silence,
Not with darkness.
slow, and then you just slowly die. Definitely want to have first strike on somebody. Doesn't matter who. Well, it would definitely help if it was on someone with fleet, but somebody, just so don't even have to worry about it. All right, well, those were the enemies, but before we actually get into the area, let's go ahead and let's take a pause and do our short segment. All right, well, if you're not familiar with our short segment, we like to go ahead and we just pick a random thing that is either like a favorite or a least favorite or just something about the Final Fantasy series. And so it's been a lot of fun. It kind of challenges us to really think about it sometimes. And you thought of this one. What do we got?
Kind of going along with what you were saying, we've been having to dig deep, or at least a lot deeper, on the kind of topics that we go with so we don't exhaust them so quickly. So this one I was thinking about because we do a lot of what's your favorite. Now we're going to try most frustrating RNG for stealing. I think this one's going to be really good because honestly, Final Fantasy stealing is usually a nightmare.
It is, and it's a huge part of it too. I mean, if you like to really get far in Final Fantasies, and especially if you're a completionist, I mean, it's a must. You have to steal.
There's some clarification needed on this as well. Like obviously 8 doesn't really have steal, other than Mug. I guess that's the only steal you can really count. The rest of them at least have your pretty standard steal, but they also all have different mechanics with them. So depending on the game, their success rate and things like that. But it is a toss-up. It's a tough one. I do have to say 9. I have to say 9. The reason why is because there are so many, good weapons and things like that, especially the bosses, and we talked about them.
Yes, we
There's
did.
actually notorious weapons in 9 that are just ridiculously difficult to get, right? Like needlessly difficult to get. And also just the PTSD from reading, couldn't steal anything,
I
couldn't steal
couldn't
anything, couldn't
steal
steal.
anything.
Like, oh my goodness. Just,
Couldn't steal anything.
just
Couldn't steal anything. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, come
every
on.
single time he's just waiting. He's like, all right, hold on. I have to wait 30 seconds before I can attempt another steal. All right, chill out.
Yes, well,
Oh
and I
man.
remember because when we went through the series for the podcast, I got
Yeah.
really lucky on some of those steals after like the first and second time, and we were just blown away about how it actually happened. I'm like, yeah, no, I got it.
It's just glorious. Like you'll be zoning out, and then all of a sudden it's like stole fairy flute. You're like, oh my god, it finally happened. You
Fairy
know,
flute, yes. And then you got to finish the
something like
battle
that.
too. Is half the time, right? It's like
Yeah.
stealing it was the first part. Now you got to actually live through it.
And then runners up 7. 7's definitely second worst. The reason why 7's not as bad as 9, in my opinion, is because at least that game the steals aren't that great. They don't even really have to steal.
Yeah.
Like I mean, rare steal. Let's say normal steals, sure. Rare steals, eh. And 12. 12 can be quite annoying with steal as well at times.
Yeah, so mine's gonna be 12 because, well, first the items suck for the most part. You rarely get any good items, but
Get like
it's
loot.
doing the whole diamond amulet thing, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to put this thing on all the time, and you gotta put it on, take it off, and then even then it doesn't do it, or you'll just get the knot of rust or whatever it is for stealing. You'll just get the worthless thing, and it's just. Thankfully, there's not like missable stuff, at least as I'm thinking off the top of my head for steals for 12, but it's just the whole system is just kind
Not
of,
really, yeah.
what is the point?
It's mostly good for loot, I'd say. Just things, money, gil, so you can sell them. You can get some pretty decent things, I guess, early on if you know what you're doing, that can help you out in the bazaar. Items, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's still pretty darn frustrating. You'll come across some where the game just will not let you. I'm not really sure the mechanics on 12 stealing, but it just seems like when the game doesn't want you to get a steal in, it's just not going to let you. It'll sit there. It's like steal, missed, missed, missed,
Dude,
and you're like, all right, get it.
I know.
Well, meanwhile,
I
they're
I
you
always
up and
even set up the stealing gambits too, and that whole. Well, we won't even get into that, but that's just. Say probably 9 is definitely like right up there too, because yes, I mean even though I did get lucky with some of those I didn't, and for the podcast I was like, I'm getting this item, it's gonna happen, and it's like,
I know.
no, it's not. I'm moving on.
Yeah, I mean, it gets hard keeping your characters alive. You start just expending all your MP trying to keep them alive. So
Yep,
it becomes basically a battle against time.
exactly. All right, well, those were kind of our most frustrated, just stealing RNG stealing stuff. So not too bad. Pretty interesting stuff. All right, let's go ahead and get back to Sin and see what we can get into. Okay, this whole area again is kind of like smoke. There's like water on the ground. You can't really see. And then not only that, but the map doesn't really work. It's not filled out and all that. I mean, no one is.
You fill it out.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Why didn't Orin? He should have been a cartographer, right? He should have mapped this out when he was in here. What the heck, dude?
Oh man, yeah. It's like, dude, haven't you been here before?
Yeah, better.
I don't know. It's like, come on, Orin, come on, man.
This area though is called the Sea of Sorrow. Dude, what the heck? Talk about a downer, man. What is going on? Sea of Sorrow?
It's sad.
Oh, man.
It is sad because every 5 steps you get in an encounter, so it makes you want to.
Yeah. I'm sorrowful when I walk through
it. Yeah. It's a trip though. The whole place, like you said, it's like you're in cloud. Yeah, but yeah, basically just in the sky in the clouds or something, and then it's a water path. And as you travel along it, you get to fill in the map. Hard to see everything. It's hard to see the path. So really this place, in a lot of ways, is kind of like Beacon Desert when you're running in between the dunes. It's a zigzaggy kind of twisting and turning path.
Yeah.
There's basically all these treasure chests that you have to take little roundabout ways. You'll see them before you can get to them. And usually there's a waterfall type thing that you can't climb up. It's the same thing as if you try to climb up the sand dunes.
Yeah. And we'll go ahead and hit that. So if you did go up and get all the treasures and you just go around, we got some good ones. You got Phantom Rain. Remember, Phantom is always eaters. I think it's like fire, ice, and lightning. It's 3 of them.
3.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's helpful. wink, wink. They give you it at a very good point in the game. Wink, wink, right? And so, there's that elixir. Okay, cool. Level 3 key sphere. Okay, cool. They're kind of still getting
That
used.
is, yeah.
The wizard lance. I'm tired of this. Why is the game trolling us so badly? I'm tired of this. Dude, this thing isn't
I'm
even...
tired.
We already got one of these, man. It's magic 10%, 5%, and 3%. What a worthless weapon.
Well, didn't we get the physical version of it, the Knight's Lance?
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't that strength plus 20? But equally worthless, I agree.
Oh, man.
I don't get it. I mean, I know we harp on about this. What was the plan? I mean, at what point would you need to use the Wizard Lance? You're like, okay, I have a magic build Kamari. I've been waiting the entire game to get this Wizard Lance.
Like, I wouldn't even use that on, like, Lulu or Yuna, though, because 18% magic is not worth 3 slots, It's like, gosh, I need something else on this other than that.
And surely at this point you've been able to get 1 MP cost again. Like, that's not super unattainable.
Yep.
Or magic booster or anything else like that. But at least the other ones, there are some really good ones here. So you've got that special sphere. Think of that every single time you get a special sphere, you think, meh, that's either use item or double cast.
Yes.
I mean, those are two incredibly useful.
There's not really much, and it's not really that large of an area. So eventually you'll get to some stairs, and you climb it up, and oh boy. All right, here we go. Seymour, he's here again. Now, again, we already knew because we saw his face on the way here, and it was like, oh gosh. So we knew it was probably going to happen, and well, what do you know? Here it is.
Yeah, also there's like his staves on the stairs. Before you get there, there's save sphere, so save, and then you'll see his stabs. It's like, yep, what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, he's just chilling here, and he gives his master plan. So they're kind of like, "What are you even still doing, man?" He's like, "Oh, he's totally bonkers at this point. I mean, anyone who's been killed 3 times probably would be." He lets you know his master plan. So he's trying to control sin within sin, right? He's like, sin, or Titus even says, he's like, sin absorbed you. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, and I got an eternity to do this, man. I got an eternity to try to control sin and all that.
Well, and this is the thing. It's just like the final part of his story, right? Because we knew, especially from Gagazette, that he started doing, I mean, even before that, really, he started doing the whole, I know how to free everybody from their pain. You just kill everybody.
Just kill them all.
Them from their pain. So now this is the final stage where the way in which he's going to do that is to take control of sin, to be sin, essentially the arbiter of the entire spiral of death. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If we lose here, then beating him at Gagazette didn't matter. Beating him at Bavel didn't matter.
Yep, it's true. And well, they say that we're going to put an end to you. And he's like, by all means, try. Well... We've tried 3 times and we've won 3 times, man. So we kind of have a track record against you here.
Yeah, we got this. He's turned into Crystal now. I don't know how to explain him. He's gone the final stage. He's gone full Crystal. You
never go full Crystal. You just never go full Crystal.
What was it? He fulfilled his
his
focus. He fulfilled his focus.
He was a Fal'C and a Lucy and a, who knows, but. Yeah, so here we go. Seymour Omnis, and like, this is the last time, right? You're like, okay, dude, we fought you like 15 times. This is it, right? Are you gonna finally die this time?
Please let it be the last time.
Please.
So, quick rundown of this guy. He's floating in the air. He's got 4 spinning wheel thingies behind him. It's like, I guess they're called Morty Phasm. So, I mean, Morty is like his pet that he keeps turning into different, like, characters.
Oh, Mort's been around for a long time.
Well, because he doesn't have any party members. He has to create. All right. Just me and you, Morty Orcus.
Yeah, just me and you. Maybe Morty was his butler back at the temple that we killed with him, and he just turned him into this thing.
It is weird, right? Like, the first time he doesn't have anything. Second time he's got it. Third time it's an upgrade. It's like his chariot. Now it's like a Wheel of Fortune game or something.
Yeah,
Wheel
like of Mortiphasm.
Like, haha, it changes the elements so you can't defend against it.
Is there a fire, Chet? Yes, there are 3 fires. Boop, boop. Yeah, oh, man. Now, here's the thing. When you start this battle, Oh my gosh, guys, what can we say? I mean, Final Fantasy just has some of the coolest boss music, and
Yeah.
this track is awesome. It's cleverly named Fight with Seymour. And so
Oh
you
man.
could find it pretty
Perfect.
easily. And it's a good one.
It really is. It's definitely got that final boss vibe to it. It's kind of like the music we talked about when we were going through 9 when you got to the final fights with Pooja
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really amazing track. And so basically, you know, the way that this guy works is the wheels, the mortiphasms behind him, you can hit them to change, to basically rotate clockwise one selection. And the nodes, the little orbs that are right next to him, are basically on the whole wheel. There's 4 of them, correspond to the elements. So yellow is thunder, red is fire. There's sort of like a dark deep blue for ice and a sort of lighter aquamarine blue for water. I mean, that's pretty much it. So he attacks with whatever the color is that's facing towards him. So if it's all red, 4 Fire-Raga, all 4 Blizzaga, and any variation of that.
Obviously, it'd be helpful if you had some elemental protection. So that Phantom Ring you just got, you should also have Phantom Bangle from, the airship treasures and stuff. And so anything in between obviously would do well over this, but that's pretty much it. It's just the elements. So not too bad to have to protect against.
You could also use Yuna's null abilities as well to deal with it. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways.
And after being hit 6 times, he doesn't like that. He gets angry. He starts to grow red, and he dispels the party, which, that's just kind of a standard thing. So, you could put up some protection stuff, but 6 times, that's only 2 full turns for everyone. That's not very much. So if you want to, kind of spend time buffing, I don't know, that's your prerogative. But he will stay in his red glowing state, and, he'll continue doing his things, but he'll stay that way until he uses Ultima. And this might be the first time you see Ultima, and the ability looks sweet, but oof, it does hit hard.
That's why it's kind of tricky to use that dispel, because I think it's kind of like total annihilation from before. You get about 2 or 3 turns, if I'm not mistaken, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not even, to be honest, to get ready for this. But yeah, he'll dispel you, so you'll have to re-up Shell for sure. Focus can also help, even though it increases magic, like the magic stat. It also increases magic defense, so you can use focus times 5. Stamina tablet, double your HP, all kinds of different ways to deal with it. But you can also even just do the call an Aeon, get 1 attack off, say, overdrive or something, and just use them as a meat shield.
Yeah, exactly. He'll do his thing that he's done, where he'll banish them. So he can banish Aeons. Can't he just banish Sin? Sin's an Aeon, it's a summon. Why can't he just banish Sin? I got this ability that only I have in the whole world, and I can just take out Aeons right and left in one hit. Do. Oh, but Sin, I can't do anything against that.
I love how they always have these extremely overpowered abilities, like all of a sudden he can just kill an Aeon with 1 ability 100% of the time. It's like instant death.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I'll just use Banish on you. It's like, well, how the hell do you have the ability to just banish Aeons?
I learned
like you're saying,
from Sin. No,
that.
I mean,
it's like I unlocked it in the sphere grid.
Yeah, you guys don't have that node? It's called Banish. Look for it. Yeah.
It's in the Seymour part.
And on the Aeon bit, a fun way I like to kill him is to use Anima, but regardless, you should use Anima anyways, because you do get a little unique dialogue with him, because obviously, it's his mom, right? And so you summon Anima, and it comes up, and he'll stop and be like, you would oppose me as well, so be it. He's like, oh,
so be it.
My Dane mom's against me too, Dane. He's like, man.
I love how often he says, so be it.
So be it. And then you use an overdrive, and it overkills him. You're like, yeah. Thing is, that's pretty much it to the battle, right? It's not like some crazy thing. It doesn't have multiple forms or anything like that. I would say his third form at Gagazet, that's probably the most dangerous one. Right here, even if you did kind of just go straight into it, chances are you do have double cast, and you do have good magic and some pretty good weapons and stuff. And so it's not that difficult to do. What does he have? He only has 80,000 health. I mean, that's not a whole lot. And for me, it was fantastic because I did do a little bit of side stuff, and all that. So I came back with Yuna with Nirvana, and she was just double casting like 12k flares at him. So I was like, all right, you do your thing.
Exactly. You can take them out pretty easily when you're doing 12k. That is for sure. After you beat him, it's really funny. He does the amount of dying faces Seymour's done every single time. He's in like this form. He starts exploding. But after that, he's just kind of like injured, crouched on the platform or whatever. And, this is at that point when Yuna finally actually starts to send him. And he goes,
send him.
But even after I am gone, Spear's sorrow will prevail.
Yep, that's
it says like basically you would send me after all, right? Or something.
Yeah, well, as soon as she starts sending, though, he was like, hold, I have a request. And she stopped summoning or sending him because that's all he has to say. All he has to do is just talk. Why didn't he just keep talking and she would have stopped? This was no different than like all the other 50 times that she had to send him. But this is the one time she's like, all right, I'm going to actually do it this time. I'm not going to listen to him. I'm just going to dance. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, it could have just made something up like, Yuna, before you send me, it's about Jiskel's sphere.
It's about your father. Dude, Titus, he gets he gets the last word in though, Seymour's gone. He's like, Sin will be right behind you. All right, so guys, it's time to go back to the far plane. We're going to summon up Unaliska. We're going to summon up Seymour and just laugh at him. We got you guys, and now you're here, and you have to come see us.
Maybe they died unclean deaths. They're still walking the world. Who knows?
Oh, man.
But all I was thinking after all of this was that just so happy. For a minute there, I thought Yuna would never send this guy. We just spend the next 10 years running around Spira, fighting Seymour and his little buddy Morty over and over and over.
Seymour, you give back Uni's garment grid right now.
Where is he? I know he's around here somewhere. He's stealing
that
garment
dress doesn't fit you anyways, dude. You can't wear that dress. It's Uni's.
Turned into a sphere hunter. We hunt spheres.
But no, he's dead. He is. He's finally dead. We did it. Oh, it's been
Yuna.
So long. I mean, gosh, even think back to Makalania, like that was a long time ago. And that's when he obviously was the true antagonist and stuff. But even before then, we saw him all the way back in Luca, like, gosh.
Yeah, I was going to say first time we saw him was Luca. It's crazy.
It is. It's a weight off. He's not coming back anymore. So now you're like, okay, well, so Sin really is what's next, or anything in between there, because like that was it. That was the other main antagonist, bad boy of Spira.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I don't think we're gonna have enough time to get to any of the Monster Arena here. Expect that next episode, everyone. We'll go ahead and we'll get to Monster Arena, some more side content and stuff before we make the final push, essentially. So
unbelievable,
dude. I know we're almost there. It's almost over.
10. Yeah, exactly. Started with 9. It's such a journey.
It has, yes, over years and all that. It's been good. All right, well, we'd like to thank you all for listening, supporting our podcast. We do appreciate it. This whole series of the game, just from personally, it's been a lot of fun because it really motivates me and pushes me to play 10. And, I haven't done the stuff I've done in 10 for over the past few weeks here in maybe 10, 15 years. So, it's been great. It's been so much fun.
Exactly. You get to go back over, get to talk about it. We love doing this. We hope you guys really do too. And, if you know any Final Fantasy nerds out there like us, then, share it with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because you do have to be a pretty big Final Fantasy nerd to listen to this.
Yeah, you do.
And we're not insulting anyone because we're the biggest ones. Well, probably not the biggest.
Yeah, we're up there.
Yeah, we're up there. We like it. Oh, yes. Well, you can check out our website if you're interested. It's FinalStop.FinalFantasyTalks.com. It just has more Final Fantasy stuff. We got a blog there. If you're interested in Blitzball for 10, all the Blitzball stuff is on there. We got all kinds of stuff. And then, of course, we have our Instagram where we just like to make the posts of the different scenes and one-liners and all this stuff. It's one thing talking about it like this, but it's so much fun putting those clips together and stuff and, put it out there and having the conversation online with other people. It's a blast. All right, well, we'll catch you all next time. I'm Mark.
And I'm Alex.
And this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks.